My channeling this morning, for some reason, and I can't even explain to you why it didn't record, because most of the time when I do my channeling, I have it recorded. And for some reason, it didn't. And I really wanted the message to be remembered by me so I can then translate it back to you. But what came through today was about how to deal with the transition from this shift of energy where we are individually shifting. And they wanted to also tell me to explain to you how to deal with these shifts and these energies that's coming through for you now. This shift could be happening either in an illness, which I dealt with. It could be happening with you in a feeling, in an energy where you can't explain what's going on in your mind. You feel unsettled. You feel like normally you would be calm and happy-go-lucky and really take things easily and not let things affect you. But in the last couple of weeks or days, it has become unsettled. And yes, it could be from the moon, and yes, it could be from a lot of external things happening around us. But what this really means is that you are shifting. You are shifting into a high vibration. And they also wanted to explain that when you have, for some reason, decided, I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to be the person where perhaps you were short or you were whatever it was that you want to shift from, because everyone's individual. For me, I can only explain, I wanted to be more calm. I wanted to be more open to synchronicities. I wanted to be more open to energy. And so I had to leave the old me and the habitual me that was, always rushing and being short and, not really listening to myself or others. The shift for me was the last few days. But what they're wanting to say is that you will know within yourself that this shift is happening for you here and now. And when that happens to you, it means that you in a timeline had agreed that at this point of time on April 20, 2025 at 9 a.m., that you are going to have this realization, I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be over here. I want to be more aware. I want to be open to these synchronicities. I want to have a higher vibration. I want to be whatever you want to be. But you have decided before you came onto this physical experience that you wanted to change at this time. April 20, 2025 at 9 a.m. This is when you had that awareness. When you have that awareness, it just comes to you in your belly, you feel it and you can't explain why you are feeling this way, because it's a shift. It is a shift that you want to be different than what you were before. People come out of addictions or habitual situations, and for some reason they say, right, that is enough. I've just had it. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to do that thing anymore. Where does that come from? It comes from you. It comes from your soul. It comes from your higher self to say, you agreed to have this timeline happen to you, and it's happening. That's what I wanted to really explain, is those feelings of an emphatic decision that you want to change. So when you change and you become more open to these awarenesses, but you have these little inklings of the old person, of that old self, you come to this confusion and you become doubtful. Oh, is this really what I want? Is this really where I want to go? Maybe I just will be that old person again because it's easier. No, this is the confusion that your conscious mind is trying to pull you in. I had a client, and I just want to explain to you why this is happening and how it can help you. I had a client who absolutely knew there was a shift in her life. She absolutely knew there was going to be change. And the wise wisdom that came through in the channeling session, she absolutely got. It resonated with her totally. But what happened was the trauma that sits in the core of us, and it is with everyone. There is a core of some trauma, what might be, it doesn't have to be huge, but there is something that our innate self has remembered and continues to remember and transcends into our life in some shape, way or form. And she knew that there was something she had to really dig into that core, to really get that message to resonate in her life, to really embody that in her life. After the channeling, we did some work on her. The reason why I incorporate the therapy and the hypnotherapy into the channeling is because not everyone can really embody that message totally until they get rid of that emotional core belief, that core issue. And when that's released and brought up to the surface, dealt with, then can they resonate with that message. Then can everything totally be in bliss in their life, because they have surfaced that belief, that trauma, that emotional issue. They might not even realize that they had, but until you get to that core issue, because something is really drawing you back, that change and that awareness that you want to move forward with will then happen. The reason of some of the confusion in the shifts from A to B might not be as smooth for some. And it's not smooth, as I said, because of some emotional issues that they need to deal with. There are so many wonderful therapies that are out there, all natural and all becoming more open, because people are now recognizing that the shift they need to make to really become on a higher consciousness, a high awareness, is they need to deal with this emotional issue first. When that happens, life just changes. It becomes transformational when you do that. One of the things this morning that came through was the change from a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. And it is such a wonderful analogy they gave me, because for a period of time when the caterpillar is just doing what caterpillars do, grow, they eat what they need to, and they move along in the garden and just do naturally what they need. And instinctively, they know their time is imminent to change. They go and do what they need and go into a branch and don't quote me on these things. I don't know the actual steps and layers of the change, but I know that what they said to me is that they will innately know when it is time. When they leave the cocoon, when they leave that shell and shed that cocoon, then blossoms into this beautiful butterfly. They're so different. They've got beautiful colours. They've got these beautiful wings, and they fly off. If you've ever really noticed a butterfly, how beautiful they are. So they've come from being on the ground, being this caterpillar, and then transcending into this beautiful butterfly. That's how we need to think when we are doing our shift. We have to really leave the cocoon and not look back at what once was. For some, it is difficult to leave that old self, and that is because of that connection they have in that emotional issue. And once that's dealt with, you'll be flying like a butterfly.